You've already noticed how there are people who spend their entire lives complaining that they're trapped, but never see the bars of their own cell? Millions of people wake up every day, drag themselves to jobs they hate, return exhausted to homes they can barely afford, watch some nonsense on the internet to forget their own existence, and call this normal life. I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I want you to answer honestly. How much of your life do you spend following scripts that others have written for you? Everyone talks about financial freedom, geographic freedom, time freedom, but nobody talks about the mental prison that makes all these other freedoms completely impossible. This video isn't for people who want to keep sleeping. If you prefer the illusion of security, close it now. But if you're tired of feeling that life is passing you by while you merely survive, keep watching. I'll show you the door to the cell you might not even know exists. Let's talk about the most sophisticated prison ever created in human history. It has no visible walls, no sirens or armed guards. It needs no physical handcuffs. This prison is so perfect that the prisoners themselves defend it tooth and nail. It's so efficient that it makes captives believe they are free. And it's so intelligent that it makes you think it was you who chose all this. This prison has a name: drift. Its existence on autopilot. It's living without questioning, without positioning, without consciously chosen direction. Think about it. Who defined that you need to work 40, 50 hours a week? Who said success is having a new car and a house financed for 30 years? Who established that you need to retire at 65 when you're almost dying? Who decided that you should spend the best years of your life building other people's dreams? The system doesn't need to imprison you physically. It just needs you to think like a prisoner. A mental prisoner is afraid to take risks. A mental prisoner is content with crumbs. A mental prisoner believes that people like me can't have more, be more, achieve more. And the worst, a mental prisoner doesn't even realize they're imprisoned. They call their cell reality and their sentence normal life. Look around you. Since childhood, you've been trained to obey without questioning. The educational system wasn't designed to create independent thinkers. It was designed to create obedient labor. Think about it. 12 years sitting in rows, raising your hand to ask permission even to go to the bathroom. Memorizing information you'll never use. Being punished when you question authority. And all for what? To be trained to accept a world where you work to enrich others. Vote for politicians who don't represent you. Consume products you don't need, and spend your whole life waiting for a retirement that may never come. This isn't just a mental prison. It's perfect social engineering. Let me tell you a story I witnessed up close. I won't use real names, but this really happened. I knew a man, let's call him Paul. He was a mechanic. He started his profession at 17, in a small neighborhood garage. When I met him, Paul was already 58 years old. And guess what? He was still at exactly the same garage. Same tools, same mediocre salary, same routine for over 40 years. One day, I witnessed a conversation between him and his nephew, who had recently graduated in engineering. The young man, curious, asked, "Uncle, why did you never open your own garage? Everyone says you're the best mechanic in the region." And Paul answered something I never forgot. "Those things aren't for people like me, son. To open a business, you need education, money, no important people. I just know how to fix cars." The most shocking thing about this story is that this same man who just knew how to fix cars was so extraordinary at what he did that owners of larger garages brought vehicles to him to solve problems no one else could. Directors of luxury dealerships would call him. Rich and influential people only trusted his services. He had loyal clients for decades who would never go to another mechanic. Paul was a genius in practice, but a slave in mind. This man died 2 years later. Honest? Yes. Hardworking? Certainly. Respected? Without a doubt. But he died poor, tired, and without realizing even 10% of the potential he had. Not because he lacked ability, not because he lacked opportunity, but because he carried invisible chains in his mind that were never questioned. That is the true prison. I'm going to tell you something that might bother you. For every excuse you use to explain why you're not advancing, there's someone with fewer resources, fewer opportunities, and more obstacles, breaking records and achieving the impossible. While you say you don't have time, there's a single mother with 3 jobs building an empire. While you complain that you don't have money to invest, there are people starting with $100 and multiplying it by 10. While you claim you don't have connections, there are immigrants who don't speak the local language creating business networks. The problem isn't your resources. The problem is your mental prison. And the most dangerous part, you defend this prison. You justify it. You call it being realistic. Realistic or cowardly. Because there's a very thin line between having your feet on the ground and being buried up to your neck. See how this works in practice. Our political system needs you to keep believing your vote doesn't make a difference, but that you should still vote. This way, they maintain control while giving you the illusion of choice. Our economic system needs you to believe wealth is for the few, and luck is the decisive factor. This way, you don't question the unequal distribution of resources. Our media needs you to live in fear and insecurity. This way, you consume 24/7 news and products that promise security. Our social networks need you to seek external validation. This way, you deliver valuable data for free while consuming advertising. The most efficient prison isn't the one you try to escape, but the one you defend as the way things are. Freedom begins in the mind before manifesting in any other area of life. For me, Christ is my compass on this journey to liberation, not because he offers a formalist religion, but because he himself said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Truth is the greatest enemy of mental prisons. Truth exposes the lies that support the bars of your cell. Romans 12:2 says something profound. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice, it doesn't talk about religious rituals. It talks about a fundamental transformation in the way you think and interpret reality. Liberation from this prison begins with 3 steps that require courage. Conscious awakening. Stop accepting as normal what is, in reality, collective mediocrity. Question everything. Your habits, your beliefs about money, your self-imposed limitations. Always ask, is this true, or just something I've repeated so many times that it seems true? Strategic disobedience. Identify the unwritten rules you follow without questioning, that you need a degree to succeed in life, that wealth is for the chosen few, that dreaming big is arrogance, that you need permission to start. And then, deliberately break these mental chains. Daily decision. Freedom isn't an event. It's a practice. Every day you need to consciously choose who will define your limits, where you'll invest your energy, what voices you'll listen to, what future you'll build. The cell is open. The question is, do you have the courage to leave? The greatest prison of the 21st century has no walls. Its ideas you never questioned. Its rules you never signed. Its limits you accepted because everyone lives like this. School taught you to be an employee, not an entrepreneur. Culture taught you to be a consumer, not a creator. Society taught you to follow, not to lead. The political system taught you to delegate your power, not exercise it. But if you observe human nature in its essence, if you look at what we really are when free from indoctrination, you'll see that we're born to create, conquer, and transform, not to blindly obey. Don't be fooled. What seems like security today might just be a captivity with Wi-Fi. What seems like prudence might just be disguised fear. What seems like normal life might be death in slow motion. The key has always been in your hands. Awaken, decide, break free, and start living like someone born to lead, not to blindly obey. Because when you escape the mental prison, all other prisons become irrelevant.